So it's true that the keynote speaker said that in terms of peace and security, SADC is a success story. I can hardly disagree with him because he's sitting right next to me. So I find myself in a pickle, but allow me, as a professor should do, to interrogate that statement and see what we can learn. And so, indeed, it is true that the AU and SADC has developed over time very sophisticated policy frameworks and strategies to deal with democracy promotion and threats to security. I think the audience knows them. They go by names such as APSA, or AGA, or SIPO. And indeed, SADC enjoys relative peace relative to the rest of the continent. But peace must surely be more than the absence of war. Positive peace must include justice for all. And so, are these policy instruments robust enough to ensure positive peace for, is it 230 million citizens of SADC? Consider the contours of our volatile world. This is what we're up against. Let me start globally, on the global scale. As you know, we observe seismic shocks with damaging consequences. The first one I think of is economic vulnerabilities. And the major trend that I see is the globalization of the world economy and growing political nationalism, which you spoke about, President. So we have a slowdown in global economic growth, a rise in global debt, and rising inequality between and within countries. Under this rubric, we also see rising major power tensions. Again, you alluded to that. Think of America and China and the emerging or deepening trade war. Think of the tense relationship between America under the Trump administration and the European Union. Think of the challenges to the European Union integration project itself. Think of resurgent Russia and the role of China. These things play off or play out in the Security Council of the United Nations and elsewhere. And as a consequence, multilateralism is weakening, which impacts negatively on democracy and conflict management and resolution. We are not agreed on how to deal with Yemen or Syria or Somalia or the DRC. Secondly, I see environmental risks where the major trend is, to put it simply, extreme weather and the failure of climate change mitigation and adaptation. One result is acute food insecurity. Another result is the struggle or the challenge to manage natural disasters. And you will recall the cyclone Idai that hit Mozambique and parts of Zimbabwe and Malawi a few months ago. A real challenge to our capability to respond. The third one is technological instability, where the trend is new instabilities that are being caused by the deepening integration of digital technologies with every aspect of life. And a simple example to use from where I sit in Johannesburg, I have a smartphone, you have one too. I do my banking on a smartphone app. I don't go to the branch. As a consequence, in my country, hundreds of people are being laid off now in the financial sector. They've become redundant. The teller is no longer needed. So the impact of the 4IR is upon us. We have to mitigate and adapt. I see two other consequences of technological instability. The first one is the vulnerability of critical technological infrastructure, which is a growing national security concern. So we face cyber threats increasingly. And the second one is artificial intelligence, AI, enables the rise of media echo chambers and fake news. Popularized by the President of America, who's conducting his foreign policy through tweets. Did you know that tweets that contain fake news consistently outperform those containing true information? So if you're a student or a consumer of these technologies, beware, be careful. Let me come to Africa, the continent. I would say that despite our best efforts, conflicts continue to ravage Africa. The causes are multiple, complex, and interrelated. For example, the AU Commission last year acknowledged that conflict and crises are rooted in governance deficits, which include mismanagement of diversity, manipulation of constitutions, marginalization of the youth, and mismanagement of natural resources. In addition, conflict is fueled by at least 7 or more factors, including poverty and instability, disruptive transitions to democracy, a lack of democratic accountability, social and economic exclusion, large-scale violence, self-serving leadership, and excessive dependence on commodity exports, you mentioned this, President, and external funding for running the state and managing the economy. So, where does this leave us? There's much to be said that is positive. For example, if you look at the most recent Mo Ibrahim Index of Governance, you will find that only 4 of the 16 member states in SADC dip below the African average in terms of overall governance. And in fact, the most recent Africa Governance report of the APRM, our own peer review tool, the African peer review mechanism, recommends member states to sign, ratify, and domesticate relevant peace and security instruments. Remember, I started off by mentioning them, UPSA, etc., etc. And as important as these instruments are, is it enough? And in conclusion, I want to recommend some additional measures. First, I've got 4. I've got 5. First, review the SADC peace and security architecture in the light of these identified trends. There's a process underway, and I think they need to take into account those most recent, over-the-horizon, emerging threats to our sovereignty, to our well-being. Secondly, pay particular attention to the capacity of our member states to anticipate and respond individually and collectively to these challenges. This requires, in my view, a regional, homegrown security sector review program supported by the Secretariat. The third one, rather than relying on external consultants, draw on indigenous African expertise in peace and security. This is an underrated or under-evaluated, undervalued relationship that we can improve on. My 4th recommendation is for SADC is create a research unit or a policy analysis unit in the Secretariat perhaps at senior level, where its purpose will be to facilitate the generation and the dissemination of new knowledge. Because as you've heard me say, the threats to our peace and security are very broad, wide, and deep. That's more than hard security. And then finally, allow me to say, facilitator, there's no point in us chasing big, elite, or state-driven projects if our people do not see relevance to their lives. This is true for APSA and for SIPO and our policy instruments as well. National and regional security must promote the interests of our people. It's as simple as that. If our plans do not address poverty alleviation, inequality and exclusion, SADC will fail. The challenge is clear. SADC needs a social compact with the people of the region to continue the journey towards the ultimate goal, which is freedom from want and freedom from fear. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor.